Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to Let's Play Darksiders Dose. Last time, we began our third dungeon. So weird how few episodes have passed, and yet we're on to the third dungeon already. But that's because the first few are quite short, and the volume of dungeons in the game is rather high. This one, the Lost Temple, doesn't have the most new stuff going on, but it has introduced us to the animated constructs that we've been bringing to life with the Maker's Key in order to solve puzzles. And we have a few more of those animated construct puzzles coming up, including one that's slightly more involved. One that I rather enjoy. Coming out here, hopefully, wow, that chest was absolutely just nothing. Dope. Oh, let's hope for something a little bit better out of this one. Also, I enjoy the, that traversal sequence that we started off with all the, oh, that's really good! Wow, that made up for the nothing that the first chest was. Okay. Higher damage than the Master of Karkinos, the level 8 weapon that we just picked up, the level 8 Maul.
Impossible.
No extra stats on it. I have to see how that stacks up. God damn. Yeah, I was saying I like the little traversal sequence in the beginning of the episode, where you're just chaining wall jumps and wall runs back to back. It's just neat. As is the puzzle that we are now going into. So this is the first time that we've animated a construct and then didn't immediately find somewhere to make him useful. So instead, we put him on that platform. We have another short traversal sequence. We're going to try to get up to that second floor. Do so successfully. And then we have another one up here. We also have 1, 2, 3 grooves. 30 grooves! So we're going to take this one and bring him to the groove that is closest to that platform we dropped the one on the first floor on. Because that platform is an elevator. So we activate the elevator, bring the first construct up to the second floor using the second construct. Then we're going to pilot this dude into one of the 2 grooves up the stairs as soon as I can get him off of the elevator platform. I think I want to put him in this one. If I put him on the one at the far side, he doesn't do anything useful for us. So instead, we'll lower the gate with him, go back for that second construct, and we'll take him through the gate that we now have lowered. And in fact, we're going to take him all the way to the opposite side. There's a bit of crystallized corruption that we can smash with his chain fist, and then we can also create a platform with that. Oh, and there's also another groove over here, so 4 in total. Create a platform, a chain to traverse across. Now, instead of going back to the second floor, we are going to drop from this pillar down to another chest, which could, I don't know, we're 1 for 2. That's okay. I would still say 1 for 3 on chests today. And make this jump, and then we can climb the vines back to that side of the second floor that we were on earlier. And now that we have the chain, we actually have a full bridge to the other side of the room, even though there's that huge gap in the middle. So from this side, we can actually cross all the way over to the other. But first, what we have to do is take this construct and put it in this groove, because that will unlock the door on the far end of the room. And again, we have a bridge that will lead all the way across. We don't want to do that yet. Instead, what we're actually going to do is come back over to the middle. And the other thing about the groove that we put that second construct in earlier was that it lowered the gate that we passed on the way here. So we now have another Book of the Dead page. Oh, come on, let me back on it. There we go. I couldn't jump onto it for some reason, so I just had to mount the construct again and then mount the chain from that. It's to go through the pre-baked animation when you do it that way. So now with this unlocked, this was that slightly more involved puzzle I was talking about earlier. I think from here on out, the rest of the dungeon is a couple of slightly tough combat arenas, starting at the end of a traversal sequence over here. They're showing you the path that you're going to have to cross, along with the type of enemies that are going to be waiting when we get done traversing the ledges and the walls. You know, I said that we're only 1 for 3 on drops from the chests, but remember, we still don't mind picking up those unexciting low-level fodder pieces of equipment, because Vigil found a pretty clever way to still make them valuable without them just being vendor trash for gold. I really, really hope we pick up a possessed weapon soon, though. Because so far, the only one that we got was out of a chest that reset at an autosave before the end of an episode. So when I reloaded the save file, I no longer had it, and the chest was no longer dropping that same thing. It seems to reseed the random number generator as soon as you load the file. And it reseeds it every time. So it's not like it seeds all the chests in the game at the beginning of the game or at the beginning of a zone or something like that. It's something that you can actually abuse if you, for instance, find a chest and you want to create a save, a manual save right next to it. If you really, really are desperate for a certain particular drop, or if you want to just try to game the random number generator. Wow, how did I fuck that word up that hard? Wow. If you want to game the random number generator, you can create a save and open a chest and then reload that save and just keep trying, since it'll reseed. This is a little bit nasty. These enemies, ooh, they tend to be just vicious. I find these to be some of the harder enemies to avoid. I know there are people who are like, have you tried dodging more? It's like, yes. I would like to refer you to, what was this, Season 1 episode of Tiny Voices called Inattentional Blindness, for why commentating while playing games is hard. Oh, shit. Plus, some of these enemies have, like, super, super wide-ranged attacks. Like, gigantic hurt boxes and hitboxes. All the boxes. Still, though, things are going pretty well. We're still almost maxed out on health potions, so it's not going that badly. And then I can't remember what this next room is. I don't think it's anything too big. I know there are a couple of constructs stomping around. I think they're, yep, stingers up here. I remember what this room is. They set it up like it's going to be a big puzzle room, but it's really not. There's not much going on here. We're going to have to climb up to the 2nd or 3rd floor. You already saw the groove in the floor. There's a ball on the very top floor that we have to shoot down with bombs. And then we just push it to unlock the 2 doors. It will unlock the door that allows us to progress, most importantly. But the door behind it, which is also locked at the moment. No, I think I'm going... Oh, I'm going up. The door behind it was the door that we saw before. I think we saw it at the... Whoa, what the fuck? Can I do something about that? Is there a way to adjust the horizontal sensitivity, or even the acceleration would be nice to turn off? It's really been getting on my nerves. I even lowered the sensitivity off screen and it's still like, that has not helped. Jesus. Oh well, we'll deal with it. I think you can also hear... It's very faint, but you can barely hear it. Those stones, they make a sort of shimmery noise, like the crystal lizards in Souls games. Let's see. Before I get on to that thought. Oh, behind us, we saw the door at the other end of the hall at the beginning of the episode that was locked. Once we place this, it will unlock that door, so it'll act as a shortcut if for some reason we want to go back to the beginning of the dungeon. There's another reason for that shortcut, and it's to get a chest if you get teleported out of the dungeon. Say at a cutscene that follows a boss fight that takes you back to Tristone before you can pick up an important chest. So it just makes it quicker to go back through the dungeon to get to the end of it with that shortcut. This room, we are going to really quickly dispatch the 2 Construct champions because they're dangerous as hell in pairs, using Reaper form. That did a huge chunk. Oh, we got AoE down some of the adds that spawned in once we destroy the champion. It's not half bad. These things are much easier to dodge to the side than, say, the Ravagers and those types of enemies. You do have to be careful dodging backwards against them, because they lunge like halfway across the fucking room at you. So if you dodge backwards just once, they will hit you. You have to double dodge backwards if they do straight, like, downwards or lunging swings. Health on crits, okay. Same damage. Not equipping that. Disappointed with no possessed weapons. I think that's our final combat arena. Oh, and a top off on our health potions. Not bad. Oh, there's even a token over here. Forgot about that. There's one other token like that in this dungeon that I'm pretty sure I missed. But since we're not going for completionism, that's okay. Oh, you know what I was thinking about? Because I was talking about the shimmery noise that the stones make. Very faint noise. More and more, especially as I get older, I'm lowering the volume on games when I play them for the first time and throwing like a podcast or an audiobook or something like that on in the background. With few exceptions, like games where the audio design is super crucial, or games just with exceptional sound design or music, or really story-heavy games. I won't do that on a first playthrough, but I'm just wondering how many other people are finding themselves doing the same kind of thing, like multitasking, playing a game while also throwing a podcast or something on in the background. Might just be me, because I'm a podcast junkie. This is Construct Hulk. Oh, I forgot there are ads. It kind of sucks. But either way, constructs are pretty solid standard fodder enemies. Even upgraded forms are pretty fun to fight. They make for some intense fights like the pairs of champions. Construct Hulk, though, is super cool. And I always appreciate the type of boss that forms itself from bits of its body that are like scattered around the environment. It's a very flashy, cool way to do that, to do a boss introduction. I think my all-time favorite version of that is Saffron and Nax in Vanilla WoW. Or I guess also in Wrath of the Lich King, he does the same thing. Construct Hulk is also 100% what Garn should have been. Not a complicated boss, very smooth way to curve into the more difficult fights. He integrates the puzzle gimmick that you've used up till now into the fight in a cool way. Same as Karkinos. Garn is just... The further you go away from Garn, the more disappointing he is. And Construct Hulk is being a little bit mean to me. Some of his stomps destroy the bombs that he lowers that you need. Oh, and some of them actually do a chunk of damage to you. If they explode on top of your head. He's still being a little bit mean. Well, let me grab a solid hold of one. There we go. Oh, nope, he didn't grab it. Grab that shit. Toss it at his head, shoot it, goes down. The ads are the only nagging criticism I have, and how fun Darksiders 2 a lot of the bosses are of throwing ads in. I mean, I ignore them here for the most part, and against Karkinos. But they don't add anything interesting to the fight, is the problem. Normally, ads, especially in RPGs, action RPGs, are ways of spicing up really weakly designed bosses, like adding a little bit extra challenge to them when, I don't know, the design isn't that great. Here, the design I find is fine. So the ads just come off as unnecessary. And that is a pretty cool Dragon Punch. And the Skeletal Axe of Rending. God, I love all this edgy shit. Okay, so the Lost Temple is done. We can move on. There are 2 chests on either side. Might have something decent in them. Still hoping for a possessed weapon. It's decent piercing damage. I wish they just threw out the attack speed as a number, instead of just going either fast or slow so you could calculate the DPS, or even better if they had the DPS just raw on there. So, we are going to climb up this wall, jump onto this pillar located next to the construct, and oops, mess it up just a little bit because I accidentally initiated a wall run. Let's be a little more careful. We cannot pass through this dude's legs. And when we speak to him, he will start a cutscene that ends with us back in Tristone. So what they want you to do is go all the way back to Tristone and then go back through the whole dungeon again just for this not super exciting chest. That was not a bad drop, though. Still not the most exciting chest in the world that they want you to backtrack it through a whole dungeon for. What they wanted and what I want are 2 different things, so there's that. Jumped over Stone Boy. But oh no, we're trapped because the same invisible wall that doesn't let us pass through his legs is still active. Oh no! That's okay. Darksiders 2 has no shortage of ways to jump out of bounds. Now keep in mind, this is the first one I've shown. There have been dozens of opportunities to just jump out of levels, over levels, under levels, all throughout the game. Let's make a save real quick. This is no place for a horse. Finally, I agree with Death. You could do a relatively easy infinite jump to just hop right over that big eye in Stonefather's Vale and skip literally everything that we have done, plus a good amount of what we have left to do in this region. By the way, once you fall out of world and die, going behind the construct that we have to talk to, as long as you make that save, it'll spawn you back out here once you restart. And you will have gotten the contents of that chest without having to do any shitty backtracking.
Corrupted. Not yet.
Corrupted? Then it was not a dream. The Makers have need of me.
The Makers say that you can reach the Foundry, and that a Guardian lies within.
The Foundry, yes. It is where I was cast. But it was lost. And now you will need my help.
Corruption spreads across your realm and you slumber.
Stone is heavy. It is easier to rest. In my dreams I can move again. In my dreams I am flesh.
This place, what was it?
I cannot tell you. It's on the tip of my tongue, but my tongue seems to be elsewhere.
Will you help me, Old One?
Yes.
Shall we?
Hold on, little one. In my slumber, I have felt the Guardian reaching into my dreams. He is the strongest of us all, but in his heart there is a hunger. The Guardian was built to destroy. He has much in common with corruption. You must speak with Adar and make your peace before we cross over. There may be no crossing back.
Alright, we've seen this walk too many times at this point. Let's speed on ahead.
I've restored your forge and brought life to stone. But am I any closer to the tree? Tell me now, old one, or you may never get the chance. I hear the foundry is dangerous.
As is the tree, horseman, and the entire forest. That is why you must awaken the Guardian. But have you asked yourself why you seek the tree?
The Tree of Life is where I will find my brother's absolution.
The Tree of Life is a gateway. From it, one may travel to places undreamed of, whether a world of oceans and forests, or ice, or endless night. The tree exists there. It may appear different, yet it is the same tree, and its roots connect all the realms. The Tree of Life is not where journeys end, but where they begin.
And that is going to do it for now. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take it easy. Have a good one.